Hi, so today I'm going to be making a wintry card using Critters in the Snow from Lawn Fawn. So as you can see here, I have the polar bear and the igloo from Critters in the Snow from Lawn Fawn. It's a really nice set to have. It's one of my top favorites from Lawn Fawn. So now I'm just going to take out some Memento Tuxedo Black ink and I'm going to stamp it onto this scratch piece of paper. This is just a white die cut that I thought I was going to use, but I ended up not using it. So I'm just going to stamp this polar bear on it and cut it out later. So I'm just going to stamp out the polar bear, and I'm also going to stamp out that igloo onto this piece of paper. And the reason why I'm doing it with Memento Tuxedo Black is because I'm going to be using Copic markers. So as you can see there, I have the colorless blender, I have C3 and N8. So those are the three colors that I'm going to be using to color the polar bear and the igloo. So I'm first starting off with C3. And actually I ended up not using N8. It was kind of too dark, and already with C3 it was a little dark for this igloo. So I'm just coloring it there. I'm shading it more so that in every block I'm going to shade it toward the left bottom corner. So it'll give it a little bit more definition. So I'm just gonna do that, and then I'm gonna use the colorless blender after, and I'm gonna blend out all of this gray just to make it a little bit lighter and less just this gray color on white, because I don't have anything lighter than the C3. So now, sorry by the way that my camera was a little blurry. So now I'm just going to use the colorless blender and kind of blend that gray out and get a lighter look. And then later I am going to darken it a little bit toward the bottom with that C3 again. But just to get it a little bit lighter and more gradient color, it's a really good thing to use your colorless blender. So I'm just going to do that, and again you can see there that I did do that toward the bottom left corner. I did the shading for every single block. It'll give it a little bit more definition, and it's a really nice addition to, instead of just doing the bottom of each of these blocks. So as you see there, I finished blending it out a little bit, and then now I'm just going to do the polar bear. Again, I'm going to do that same kind of look with the bottom left corner being more defined and more shaded. So it's going to make it look slightly like the igloo. That same technique. So I'm just going to continue doing that, doing the shading all around the polar bears, all the lines and underneath areas. And now I'm going to use the colorless blender again and blend it out again. So now as you can see there, I did finish coloring both of the polar bear as well as the igloo. To me it turned out pretty nice. And I did make the polar bear a lot lighter than the igloo, just to make it look more like a polar bear. So right now I'm just going to cut out those two images. So I cut them out now, and for now I'm going to be making a igloo, kind of like a snow, like fresh snow just fell on the igloo. So to do that, I'm going to stamp the igloo using Memento Tuxedo Black onto this blue piece. This is just it's just a post-it note that the whole back is sticky. So this is a really good mask paper to have. So I'm just stamping that igloo onto the post-it note, and then I'm gonna make a mask. So right now I'm gonna do this to look like snow on the top. So I'm just gonna use this top portion of the igloo. So how to do that is I'm just going to cut on that top line. So just to cut on that top line. And then after you do that, you're just going to want to make a curved edge however much snow you want to have on this igloo. So I just kind of guessed where I wanted to have this igloo and how much snow I want to have on it. So I just cut that much. And it was actually a little bit too much. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it onto this white piece of cardstock. This is again that scratch piece. and I'm just gonna cut that top edge is the most important. So the most important is just to cut that top edge really straight according to that to the igloo, and then the bottom you can change the size however much you want. So I'm just gonna cut that out now. So as you can see there, I cut it out. I'm just gonna use my X-Acto knife to separate the post-it note from the white paper or the white cardstock. So as you can see there, I did that, and now as you'll see, I'm gonna put it on here, and I thought it was a little bit too much snow, so I'm just gonna use my scissors again, and I'm just gonna cut it a little bit smaller. So this is one good thing about doing this, is that you can change the bottom edge as much as you want. It's just that top edge, you do want to keep it as that round shape. So now I thought that was a pretty good size. And now I'm just going to take that Copic marker again, this is C3, and I'm just going to run it about around this piece of that snow just to get it a little bit more defined. Because on that igloo it didn't show up very well. So just to do that, I'm just going to run that C3 around it, and then I'm just going to stick that onto the igloo. So as you can see there, it gives it a little bit more defined edge. And now, to even get it more defined, I'm going to be using the Studio G, just this glitter glue. It's kind of like a clear silver, and this is a really good tool to even make the snow look even more real. So it'll give that little twinkle on. I'm just going to do that actually to all the polar bear and as well to this igloo in all the shaded areas. So as you can see there, I added that glitter glue. And then I'm just going to put that aside to let it dry. So now I'm just going to take out this piece of white cardstock. This is going to be my background. And I got that Summer Sky Memento ink pad. And then now I'm just going to be using the Sukineko sponge dabber. This is the jumbo sponge dabber. And I'm just going to rub it all around this piece of paper. And I'm going to try to make a winter background. So I'm just going in a circular motion, and I'm bringing it from the outer edge into the center. So to make the center a little bit a little bit lighter. But as you can see, this is just the base coat, so I'm just going to put it all over the whole thing. So there it is, I put the summer sky over the whole thing. Now I'm using this Bahama Blue, also from Memento. Now this is a really strong and bright color, so I was trying to be really soft with it, and you have to be really careful because this color can get really overwhelming if you put too much, especially because this is a snow scene, so you don't want it to be too dark. So I'm doing it really lightly with this Bahama Blue, and even being really light, it's still really strong. So now I'm just taking Teal now. Now Teal is it's a darker color, but it's a less strong. So it's a really good color to kind of make your background darker, but as well to make it not so bright. So now I'm just going to take the Teal and I'm going to rub it over the entire edge of this background, just to make that edge very defined. So I'm just going to make it a little bit darker, so that's why I'm covering over that summer sky a little bit. And as you can see there, it gives a really nice snow scene. But just to make it more snowy, I'm going to add a little bit of gray. So this is London Fog Memento ink pad, and I'm just going to put this gray over most of this whole piece. It'll give it a little bit snowier look. I'm still trying to cover over that Bahama Blue a little bit, since it was a little bit strong. So as you can see there, that's my finished product, and adding that gray makes it look a little bit nicer. So now I just have another piece of scratch white cardstock, and I'm just going to use my scissors again, and then I'm gonna cut this snow mound. So this, I'm making this to put my polar bear and my igloo on top of. So I just cut out that edge right there, and then now I'm gonna use my paper trimmer and then kind of estimate how much I want to cut, and I'm just gonna cut it around like 1.25 inches. And then now I'm putting this onto, well, first actually I'm gonna use, this is the snowflake stamps that come with the Critters in the Snow stamp set from Lawn Fawn. So I'm just using Teal Zeal again, and I'm just gonna ink up these snowflakes and just stamp the snowflakes over this entire piece of paper. Now it'll make it even more snowy looking, and it's a really nice thing to do to this background. Now also, I put all of these stamps on the same clear block, and I am not worried about it like stamping over again, just because if it does stamp again, it'll be perfectly okay, because snowflakes aren't all the same color and they're not the same, so it's okay if it's all splotchy and stuff. So now I'm just stamping this "Wishing you a speedy recovery" in VersaFine Onyx black ink. VersaFine is the darkest black ink you can get, and it's really good to stamp over anything else like this pattern paper that I made. And here's the finished card. So I think it's a really nice idea to have for other people, and thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Have a great day.